Hello, grassroots. I need the last go turf up here, but otherwise, listen, we all owe each other a round of applause and a thank you for being here. That's our pay. Shake the hand of someone next to you or give them a hug if you're feeling the love. Thank you. It's no secret our country is in trouble. We have so many problems, it's tough to know where to start. For me, one way to get my arms around everything is to view these problems as symptoms of an underlying disease. And it seems to me, as it no doubt seems to many of you, that where we're at now is the result of having drifted for a long, long time away from our Constitution. Away from a government where responsibility was placed in the hands of its citizens. At one time, we, the people, really were the government. And we relied upon ourselves to take the initiative, to think independently, and to be responsible. But as we've drifted, we've accepted more and more dependency upon government as provider, less responsibility for ourselves. And independent thinking has been largely replaced by political correctness. We've slipped so far for such a long time, we can't possibly write this overnight. We can't write this in a year. But to have any chance to write it at all, to avert total catastrophe, we must change the attitudes of our elected officials, both here and in Washington. Failing that, the ride we're on may well take us someplace from which there is no return. But let's say enough politicians have witnessed this groundswell of concern across our country at rallies like this and the big one in Washington, at all the tea parties, town hall meetings, and letters to editors and talk show appearances. Let's say enough politicians have had their eyes sufficiently peeled open to realize just how badly they've been overreaching. Then even though the majority's leadership threatens the nuclear option, maybe the votes on government-run health care and cap and trade, maybe those votes won't quite add up. Not that other issues aren't pressing. Cap and tax. But let's say our efforts to date are successful enough that despite all the name-calling and bullying from places high and low, we momentarily halt this slide into socialism. That we stop these two bills. How then do we claw our way back? That will only be done by each of us and our leaders recommitting to the inspired principles enshrined in the original founding documents. To make such a thing happen, we must continue to dissect every bill our legislators would prefer to rubber stamp, to keep holding their feet to the fire at every opportunity. And some of us must consider seeking public office, if only to help spearhead debate. We must endeavor to fight the good fight and seize the initiative in all of life's struggles, to make the best of them, and thus make the best of ourselves. Circumstances be damned. That doesn't mean we should refuse help if we're kicked to the curb, nor does it mean that we should refuse to help others. Help offered freely is a blessing. Help extorted is a curse. And then we must educate. We must strive to set strong examples for our children. We must place programs in schools to reignite an interest and a fervor and a deep, abiding respect for the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. And in places like Bristol, maybe parade committees could distribute these documents themselves. Make it a tradition. And have some town crier floats with reenactments, reading from the Declaration, or reenactments of the Continental Congress as they tried to hammer out the Constitution. Because the founding documents are brilliant. They are timeless. The very light that illuminates that shining city on a hill. These documents are not, as some of our misguided brethren wish to suggest, ancient ruins of some bygone and irrelevant era. They are perhaps more important today than they have ever been. Renewing our commitment to the founding documents is the single greatest mission of our generation, and the generation after, and the generation after them, and the generation after them, and after them, and after them. Vigilance, eternal vigilance, said Wendell Phillips, is the price of liberty. For too long, we've slept. We've been distracted by the vast entertainments provided by technology, amongst other things. But now we really must wake up. Those who've awakened, a lot of good folks here, must wake up their neighbors, and they must wake up their neighbors, be they black, brown, red, yellow, white, or purple. We must wake up to our imminent jeopardy, and then we must dedicate the rest of our lives to the vigilant tending of that precious light. A good dose of vigilance, informed by the founding documents, is all the vaccine this country needs. The task ahead is immense, make no doubt, but we're Americans, and surmounting difficult odds runs in our veins. And take this to heart. Our state did not immediately ratify the U.S. Constitution. Our Rhode Island forefathers waited until they were assured of the Bill of Rights, because they were wary of unbridled power in Washington. So let's renew our rich heritage, and let's stand tall like the Rhode Island Red and call out at the top of our lungs to our countrymen, wake up!